Hi, I don't support all women. I'm not out here being like, I love you and I love you and I love you too. No. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So I wanted to come on and talk about texture discrimination and support within the natural hair community and the whole black women community. Really and truly, let's just go down both of those avenues. Now, people were speaking about this topic last year and I didn't really speak about it. I've spoken about curl typing before, but not really texture discrimination. Now, I understand that my curl texture, which if you want to go by the typing chart, is a 3C4A. I don't curl type, so it is what it is. But I understand that my curl texture is celebrated more so than some of the kinkier texture. I understand that my curl texture has a privilege associated with it. But I'm not a person that's like, yeah, my hair is the ish. Ain't nobody else's hair gonna beat this hair. Like, I don't care about these kinky girls out here. They can stay over there. No. I'm a person that I actually prefer kinkier hair textures to my own texture because I believe that kinkier hair textures are so magical. You can do everything and anything with them, and I love that texture more so than any other hair texture on this planet. And I enjoy seeing photos and videos of people with that hair texture, even though that isn't my hair texture. I am kind of annoyed and fed up of scrolling through feeds on Instagram, visiting hair blogs, or watching videos of only one hair texture being celebrated, or YouTubers with a looser texture hair being more popular, getting more views than somebody with a kinky hair texture who's been out for years, and these people just pop up from nowhere and they've got like 200,000 views on their one video. It's irritating. As much as I want to say, you know, oh my gosh, it's annoying, we are part of the problem of why this is happening, because who's watching the videos? It's not white girls watching the videos, it's not white girls with straight hair, it's black women. So we need to really think about what is the issue here. It's an issue amongst ourselves. We've been so brainwashed and conditioned to believe that a looser texture is the ultimate amazing hair texture in this natural hair community that we don't really think about the beautiful and amazingness of kinky hair. And we're not the people that are running after the kinky hair bloggers wanting hair like theirs. Whenever I go to somebody who has like a looser texture and I go through their feed and I see comments of, I can't wait for my hair to look like yours. Oh, I wish my hair looked like yours. Oh my gosh, your hair is so beautiful. Why can't my hair look like yours? And that irritates me because your hair will never look like hers. Your hair is not going to look like hers. No matter how many curling rods or things you put in your products you put in your hair's not going to look like hers. You need to learn to embrace your hair for what it is and for what it can and cannot do. I've always said this. When women say to me, I wish I had your hair texture rather than my own, it bothers me so much. I've had it nearly as long as I can remember, and when I was younger I didn't understand it, but more so because I'm in the natural hair community of bloggers and I do events and go to events and women are saying that to me. It breaks my heart to hear that because it's like an indirect compliment. As much as you're saying that you think my hair is beautiful, which I accept, you're saying that you don't think your hair is good as my hair, and that it irritates the heck out of me because that's come from a conditioning of someone telling you that your hair is not good enough or your hair is not pretty enough to be compared to somebody with a looser curl. And that is something that is still being said via these platforms. I will go on these blogs, I will go on these channels, and people are still celebrating this curl more so than a kinkier curl. And then when you have a kinkier YouTuber or a kinkier blogger, she's like put in the corner somewhere, no one's really checking for her, and it irritates me. I find it so annoying. We do celebrate the kinky texture, it's only when it's been manipulated via a twist out or a braid out. We don't celebrate it in its natural state, in like a fro or the shape that it happens to be. It's always when it's manipulated into another style do we then say, look at this kinky texture, look at this hair. Then we just celebrate the hair for what it is. And we also seem to only celebrate natural hair textures that are long. I don't really know a lot of popular kinky YouTubers with short hair, other than probably two, but I don't really know a lot of them that are out here, you know, being faces for brands, being brand ambassadors. I don't see a lot of them, and I don't see it happening a lot. I often think, is it because we don't want to see it? And I say that because whenever I see a looser texture model or blogger or brand ambassador being celebrated, the comments feed into that, I wish my hair looked like yours, I wish I had your texture. And it just makes me feel like maybe we don't want to celebrate kinky hair because we don't believe it's good enough. We don't believe that it is as good as these hair textures, and that is something that needs to change. I'm getting emails from girls who want to come to events, who have kinky hair textures and are scared to come to events because they feel like their hair is not good enough to actually come to a hair event. Do you know how deep that is? That people feel like they can't come to a natural hair event because their hair texture is too coarse. That bothers me. Or girls who decide to straighten their hair feel like they can't come to a hair event because their hair's straight, or they feel like they can't come to a hair event because they wear a weave or they wear a wig. And it bothers me so much because we're supposed to be celebrating us as beautiful individuals, and the fact that people feel like they can't come into a space because they have certain hair textures is ridiculous to me. It's something that we need to address as black women, as a black community, and as black men as well, because black men, let me tell you something, my black men, you will sit here and say that you want a woman with natural hair, but you don't seem to want the woman with the kinky natural hair. You seem to only want the woman with the looser textured hair, with the 3C, 3A, 3B texture. You're not really checking for the 4A, 4B, 4C texture, ladies. And that's another issue as well. And that's why I'm glad that we have this event for the I Define Me tour, the merge event, because we're talking about this, that the fact that there's an issue there and we don't address it. And also locks. I still can't understand why natural hair magazines, why blogs, why platforms do not cater to locks. Locks are more natural than any other hair texture on this planet, to be quite honest, because if we never did anything to our hair would all be freeform locks. I don't know why it's taking so long for there to be spaces created for locks on these platforms. And I know, you know, if you want to see the change, you've got to be the change, but sometimes you really got to question what's going on with these platforms and spaces, because if I had locks, I would feel like the outside child of the hair industry right now. I would feel like the black sheep of the family, because my locks would not be celebrated in the same space that these textures are being celebrated, and I would feel a certain type of way because I don't see myself in these spaces. And it is great that you have locks platforms, it's great that you have spaces that cater to locks that are solely for locks, but when it comes to black hair, locks are included in that narrative too, and they need to have a space in that narrative too. And the fact that forced locks are now popular, they're on trend, they're fashion, it's now being celebrated, but the same platforms were not celebrating locks before, and that irritates me as well. There's a lot of irritations that I have in the natural hair community. There's days when I'm just like, I just want to get out of this blogging world because it's a joke, but then there's days where I have to remember why I do this, because I'm here to celebrate the beautiful amazingness of who we are as black people, as who we are as naturalistas, and black hair in general. And it really just irritates me that we're still in this space. And I understand we've got so much work to do, we've got so far to go, but I often just think, are we ever going to get to that space? Are we ever really going to get to a space where everybody's celebrated? Because it's kind of reflective of the Black Lives Matters. Are we ever going to be seen as equal in this world as black people? It's the same kind of thing. I have hope, you know, I have faith, but I feel like whenever I address this on my platform, people are like, oh, what are you talking about? It's not that deep. You're just going so far, like it's not that serious. It really is. It's something that needs to be addressed, because I'm kind of fed up of it. And as much as I want to be supportive, as much as I want to, you know, everyone throws around this sisterhood word, everyone throws around womanhood, and we've got to be empowered and be connected. And yes, one of my subjects of interest is women's empowerment. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't support all women. I'm not out here being like, I love you and I love you and I love you too. No, I support women that are out here, you know, supporting themselves, grinding, doing what they have to do. I do not support haters. I do not support negative people. I do not support people that are creating irritations for no reason. I'm out here supporting those who are willing to move with the movement and celebrate the amazingness of what it is. I'm not gonna sit here up front and be like, yeah, everybody's my friend, everybody's cool with me, because I'm not like that. Not everybody's cool with me. You've got to have your circle, you've got to have your people that you roll with. But one thing I always say is, as a woman, you must respect another woman. If I'm a woman and you're a woman, we've got to respect the space we're in. We cannot be in this space together disrespecting each other, because we're not going to get anywhere. Recently, there's been a lot of these arguments happening on social media. There's been a lot of cattiness, a lot of bitchiness has been happening, and I'm not here for it. As much as I may be involved in some of them and I say my 2 pence and say what I have to say to whoever, I'm really not here for it. It's very, very draining, especially when it's on this virtual reality world, because this virtual space is not real life. So it really bothers me that on social media we have these internet warriors, we have these keyboard gangsters who want to say this and say that, but in real life ain't nothing really happening. I really want to address and try and push forward to how we can really support and connect with each other as women. How can we really create a space where women can respect each other, doing what they're doing and carrying on? Because as much as I may not like certain people, as much as, you know, you may be doing what you're doing and I don't support what you're doing, I will always have respect for another woman, because I understand what it is like to be a woman in this world, especially a black woman in this world. We already know what that struggle is. I'm starting to see this breakdown in this kind of sisterhood community, if you want to call it that, where we just I don't know if it's ingrained in us as women or it's just a myth, I don't know, but it's something about us as black women. We find it hard to support each other, and I don't know what it is. There's always this battle of, my struggle is worse than yours, you don't understand me, my struggle is worse than yours, you can't relate to me, how dare you, like all this anger. And we really need to think about how can we rechannel this into something positive. How can we make this into something where we can move together as women and support each other, because we are the beginners of life. We are the people that gave life to this world, and we need to be able to support each other within that. As much as it sounds amazing, as much as it sounds so dreamy and wonderful, we're not there yet. We're trying, but we're not quite there yet. And there's a lot of ego amongst it. There's a lot of hate amongst it. There's a lot of misunderstanding amongst it. And we really need to think about how can we as women connect, how can we really support each other, and really and truly we may have more things in common than we actually realise. We may be more connected and close than we actually realise. So we need to think about how can we progress forward. And I'm not saying go and join hands with every black woman you see on the street, but I'm saying if you're in a certain community or in a certain space and you know that you can do more, do more. If you know you can become better, become better. That's all we ever ask of you, is to be your best at what you do. So that's my whole 2 pence on it. I wanted to address it because it's been on my mind for a while. You know, there's been a lot of recent negativity going along within the world of natural hair and blogging. There's been a lot of dramas going on. There's been a lot of subliminalness going on, and I'm kind of fed up of it. Especially when it's in the virtual world, that's not really real life. I'm coming from a standpoint of, we need to really address the issues we have as a black community, men and women, and really think how can we progress forward and support each other. And as much as you may feel like that sounds like a dream, as much as you may feel like I'm talking rubbish, it is possible if we really want to get there. It's something that we can really get to if we really put our work in and, you know, aim towards this goal. But right now we're not quite there, and we have a lot of work to do. As Ayana says, you've got to do the work. So I wanted to come on and talk about that because that's just how I'm feeling right now. It's really been on my heart from getting these emails from these young women who want to come to events and feel like they can't come because they don't look a certain way. And that really frustrates me and bothers me because it's something that we've done to ourselves and something that we need to address. So let me know your 2 pence on this. Do you think texture discrimination actually exists? Do you think it's something that we just kind of, you know, constantly talk about but it doesn't actually exist? Do you feel like locks are like the black sheep of the natural hair community? If you have locks, do you ever feel like you're not included in the natural hair narrative? And when it comes to sisterhood, do you feel like in the black community we really have a sisterhood, or is it something that we just like to talk about and dream about but we actually do not have it? Let me know your 2 pence down below. I want to hear from you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.